Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with the mighty Jingles, and boy oh boy do I have a good one for you today. This, and I love his name, this is My Team Is Probably Potato. Yes, it probably is. And he is sailing for us today, the USS Worcester, the US Navy Tier 10 light cruiser that has so many consumables, you need an entire hand just to manage them. Considered by many to be just a little bit overpowered, although I have no personal experience of sailing this ship. I have unlocked it. Just this weekend I managed to finally get the ship unlocked, but I had to spend a couple of days grinding credits just to be able to afford to buy it. However, while I have no direct personal experience of playing this ship in random battles, I have witnessed others, like Flamu, Isolate or Flambass, playing this ship during Twitch live streams. And holy shit. Man, this ship, in the hands of a decently skilled player, is an absolute terror. And it's not just the utility that the ship brings to the team. I mean, you can see here that my team is probably potato, as well as your standard damage control. Also has defensive anti-aircraft fire, radar, a heal, and hydro. In fact, I think the only consumables that the Worcester is not capable of mounting are the reload boosters and the smokescreen. Other than that, it's pretty much got every base covered. But it's not just that utility that it brings to the team that makes this ship stand out. The rate of fire of these 152mm guns, and it has 12 of them, the base rate of fire of these 12 152mm guns is only 4.6 seconds, and that's before you start adding modifications to the ship, like the main battery modification in slot 6, which shaves a further 12% off that reload, at the cost of increased turret rotation, or rather decreased turret rotation speed. But even then, it still takes only around about 8.5 seconds for the turrets on this thing to traverse a full 180 degrees. This ship can have a frankly terrifying rate of fire. You may not be impressed. You might be thinking, well, what about those Japanese destroyers, the Kitakaze and Harugamo at tier 9 and 10? They have a rate of fire that puts this thing to shame. Well, that's true, but they don't have 152mm guns. This does. Also of note is the legendary upgrade that you can grind out for the Worcester. Now, there is a bit of a trade-off because it fits into slot 5. And that means if you're going to fit the Worcester with the legendary mod, if you've managed to grind it out, then you cannot fit the concealment mod. However, it's not all terrible news, because providing you at least have the concealment expert skill, and let's face it, at tier 10 most people are going to, you still have a surface detection range of around about 10.2 kilometers, which is pretty darn good. Now, if you choose to forego the concealment mod and instead equip the legendary mod, assuming you've ground it out, you bring even further utility to your team, because what that does is it gives you an extra 10% duration on your radar and an extra 20% duration on your defensive anti-aircraft fire and your hydroacoustic search consumables. Well, anyway, an enemy Grozvoy has just very graciously volunteered to demonstrate what happens to a destroyer when it gets caught by a Worcester with its pants down at this kind of range. There goes the hydro, torpedo spotted, Grozvoy now outside of hydro range, there goes the radar. Look at this rate of fire. And remember, this is before the ship has actually taken any damage and the adrenaline rush skill has kicked in. This is effectively the base rate of fire, and that Grozvoy, well, he's dead. There's just no way he's getting out of this. I mean, he comes close. Actually, no, he doesn't. He doesn't at all. That was a fairly convincing drubbing. And then, player 2 enters the match. Now, that Grozvoy that just got sunk had over 24,000 health. The Kagero, as a tier 8, he doesn't even have 18,000. And just about the only piece of good news that this Kagero can look forward to in the next few seconds is the fact that at the moment, my team is probably Potato can only really effectively get his rear turrets firing. Seems to be enough, though. And there's kill number 2. Now, you'll note that this is actually a very strong position to be in a Worcester. With all of this island cover around him on this map in particular, while it's not true that he can dictate the terms of the engagements that he gets into, but he can pick and choose his fights to a large degree and ensure that if he does get into a fight with an enemy ship, he can, with careful positioning, taking advantage of the islands and the terrain features, ensure that he's only ever fighting one enemy ship at a time. Also, from this position, and again we're focusing on the Worcester's team utility again, but from this position his radar can cover 2 of the 3 capture circles, and with a careful little bit of repositioning he can have it ready to cover the other capture circle as well, should the need arise. For now though, he's quite happy just to sit here taking pot shots at, well, ships that aren't capable of firing back at him. So why am I showing you this replay in particular? I mean, I get a lot to choose from. What made this one stand out? Well, a couple of things. Not the amount of damage that he does. I mean, he does a fair amount of damage. I'll give you a minor spoiler right now. He does over 170,000, which is a respectable amount of damage to do in a tier 10 battle. But it's certainly not a record breaker. There are actually a whole bunch of reasons why we're watching this replay, which should become apparent as the battle progresses. Oh, he's spotted. Well, he's not spotted, he's detected. That's probably radar, and it's probably the Des Moines over there. It's certainly not going to be the San Luis, the Yamato, or the Lion. And the Des Moines, of course, is another member of the Holy Shit Your Guns Shoot Quickly Club, with a base reload of 5 seconds, except the Des Moines has 203mm guns, although it doesn't have as many of them. Now, that Des Moines is in no particular rush to poke out and exploit any advantages that his radar may have given him, because that withering hail of fire heading in his direction is coming from the other Worcester on MyTeamIsProbPotato's team. Now, with the Des Moines' position given away and his attention almost certainly focused on the Worcester that's raining death and destruction down at him at a ridiculous rate of knots from the other side of the island, MyTeamIsProbPotato angles to see if he can add to the Des Moines' misery, and it doesn't look like the Des Moines is keen to come any further out than that. In fact, yep, he is in fact retreating back behind the cover of the island. So one salvo out, and again it's only really the rear turrets, and I don't think even any of those are going to hit. Now remember that Des Moines, because we're going to be seeing more of him later. In the meantime, be very, very quiet. We're hunting Yamatos. Now, the Des Moines radar has expired, but if that Yamato had been paying any attention, he had to have known that there was a Worcester lurking around behind this island. Which is why we're moving from where the Yamato knew that we were. It's possible that the Yamato was also aware of the position of that Frederick the Great over there with its 16-inch guns. That being the case, it's anybody's guess as to why the Yamato comes out broadside on, without his guns even pointing in the right direction. But, you know, we'll take it. I mean, I'm certainly not complaining. Aha. Enemy Zhao, momentarily spotted. And you'll note, of course, that MyTeamIsProbPotato is no longer spotted, because there's nobody inside his shooting range who actually has line of sight to him. And oh look, there's our little friend in the Des Moines again. Not completely alone, there is a friendly San Luis, the French Tier 9 heavy cruiser, although he's a slightly further distance away. Now remember, well actually, I'm not entirely certain that the radar that first gave MyTeamIsProbPotato's location away was actually the Des Moines. I mean, I'm assuming it was the Des Moines because he was the closest visible radar ship. There's also a Moskva and a Salem on the enemy team. It could have been the Moskva. Probably not the Salem, because the Salem's radar doesn't have the same range as the Des Moines. But that radar is definitely the Des Moines. Now, the Des Moines is obviously counter-detected by MyTeamIsProbPotato's hydroacoustic search. That's why he's using it as he threads his way between these islands. Although the hydro is about to expire. But the Des Moines is still spotted. Possibly by the friendly Des Moines down in map reference G6 that he appears to be exchanging fire with. But his radar is about to expire. Not that it really matters, because MyTeamIsProbPotato is now so close that he's proximity detected. That Des Moines has known that he was coming for the best part of the last minute. And yet, not one of his guns is pointing in the right direction. So, that's kill number 3. And now it's time to finish off the San Luis, who just got chunked, and it looks like his engine got knocked out by somebody. Possibly that Frederick the Great again. But it's MyTeamIsProbPotato who's going to secure the kill. And there's kill number 4. Now, you may have noticed the distinctly red-coloured tracer being fired by these 152mm guns. That is a dead giveaway that my team is probably Potato has completed the campaign to unlock Admiral William the Bull Halsey as the captain of his Worcester. At the moment, my team is probably Potato is asking that Shimakaze lurking around at the northern end of the map if he would be so kind as to make himself useful and actually spot something. With Bill Halsey as the captain of your ship, if you get the Confederate Award, something very, very special happens. And I'll explain exactly what that is in a moment. For now, however, the Shimakaze has just made himself useful, and he spotted the enemy Moskva. And this could be a very, very dangerous moment. There goes the Moskva's radar. The Moskva is now targeting him. You do not want to get caught broadside on to battleship Moskva in a light cruiser. But the Moskva appears to be taking an inordinately long period of time to get his turrets turned around. And what could have been devastating damage ends up being, well, barely a scratch. So the Moskva had his chance and he blew it, and now it's the turn of my team is probably Potato. Got the ship nicely angled. Again, at the moment it's mostly just the rear turrets that he can comfortably afford to fire, but now the Moskva isn't actually targeting him, so he can afford to risk turning the ship out a little and getting the front turrets firing as well. And the Moskva's guns were reloaded, but he appears to be far more anxious about the Shimakaze that is also detected by his radar and has just launched torpedoes at him. He's got the headland of this island protecting him from direct fire from the Moskva over there, although again he doesn't really need to worry about it too much since the Moskva is still concentrating on the Shimakaze, who, now that the Moskva's radar has expired, seems to be safe and sound inside the shelter of his smokescreen, even though the Shimmer is going to miss with every torpedo that he fires, even at that kind of range, which just means it's more damage for my team is probably Potato to farm on this hapless and helpless Tier 10 Russian cruiser. Spoiler alert, he is going to get the Shimakaze, because that idiot is sitting still inside his smokescreen firing his guns and giving the Moskva something to shoot at. But that's not going to be much consolation for the Moskva, because all the time he was shooting at the Shimakaze, my team is probably Potato was farming damage on him without anybody interfering. So there's the Kraken Unleashed award, which is a nice award. But it's the Confederate award that we really want to see when you're sailing a ship with Bill Halsey in command. And we'll soon see why. For now, my team is probably Potato has to deal with another Tier 10 battleship. This is the French Bourgogne. Luckily for him, that Bourgogne is a bit of a potato. You see, he's in the admittedly unenviable situation of having two ships closing in on him, both of them bow tanking him. One of them's a Republique, up there, the other, Tier 10 French battleship. But my team is probably Potato is just in a Worcester. Why do I say just in a Worcester? Well, probably one of the most significant differences between the Worcester at Tier 10 and the Des Moines at Tier 10 is the extra 2mm of bow armour plating that the Worcester has. And that's very significant, because it means a ship armed with 380mm guns, like that Bourgogne, cannot overmatch the bow armour of a Des Moines. But a Worcester only has 25mm of bow plating, and that guy absolutely definitely could have overmatched the bow armour of the USS Worcester and citadeled him clean through the front of the ship. But he didn't. In fact, he barely shot at my team's probably Potato at all, and now he's dead too. So, 6 kills, nice, but still no Confederate award. And that's when the enemy Salem graciously volunteers, and he's not only turning broadside on to a Worcester, but he's also trying to bow tank a Republique's 431mm guns with his 27mm of bow plating. And that didn't work out too well for him. Now, a couple of very important things just happened. Did you see the fireworks? That 7th kill was also the Confederate award. The fireworks went off. The hit hard skill is now active on the captain of this ship. Remember, Admiral Halsey, legendary commander. And what the hit hard skill does, well, you've already seen the terrifying rate of fire of the Worcester's guns. Now they're going to fire 20% faster. Yes, really. So that just leaves 2 enemy ships, the Gearing and the Zhao. And it would be really nice to get the opportunity to test out this new talent while it's active. It would be, well, it just seems like a bit of a waste to have it and not be able to use it. And I'm sure my team's Potato isn't feeling particularly fussy. Gearing, Zhao, both together or one at a time, I'm sure it's all the same to him. Oh look, somebody just started flipping alpha. I think there's a fairly good chance the enemy Gearing is just up ahead. Oh, there he is. That's going to be really bad news for the Gearing. Look at this rate of fire. It's probably a good idea to pop the Hydro just in case the Gearing does manage to get some torpedoes away, although I'd be very surprised if he does. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, he's turning to try to get the torpedoes off. It's not going to happen. Although it was very kind of him to drop a smoke screen like that, because it's keeping my team is probably Potato shielded from any further direct fire from the enemy Zhao that just fired from the far side of the smoke screen. So, thanks Gearing. The one of only 2 consumables that the Worcester doesn't get. Reload booster and smokescreen, and the Gearing just provided the smokescreen. Zhao spotter plane detected. Let's flash up the radar, and yep, there's the Zhao. And the Zhao cannot see us, although he's... Oh wait, no, he can't. He can't because there's now an island blocking direct line of sight between the Worcester and the Zhao. And you know what happens to enemy ships that the Worcester can see, but who cannot see the Worcester. Very, very bad things have an annoying habit of happening to their health bars, as my team is probably Potato is only too keen to demonstrate with this frankly terrifying rate of fire from the Worcester's 12 152mm gun batteries. Is this the 9th kill? I think it's looking pretty good. Ooh, there's the high caliber. Just managed to get it, and there is in fact kill number 9 for my team is probably Potato in the Tier 10 US Navy light cruiser, the USS Worcester. Although you could argue that this was one of those rare occasions when it was the enemy team who were the potatoes, and there was some extreme examples of enemy team potatoing going on there, but at the same time when you look at the post-battle results and realise that even after getting 9 kills, he still only managed to win that battle with 3 surviving teammates, so it's probably safe to assume that there was a fairly even spread of potato across both teams on at least this occasion. Nevertheless, my team is probably Potato in the USS Worcester. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Extremely well played to you, sir. Everyone else, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.